the Prodigy lead singer die a couple of years ago?
He did
Yeah.
indeed, Danton, and
Keith Flint.
welcome to the stream on that sad note that Keith Flint did indeed die a couple of weeks ago. Months, years even, I'm not sure. Actually, you joined us midstream where Khornight's bragging about the fact that he's in the Prodigy live.
Twice. Like, you asked if like the song before was Utah Saints. You asked if I'd seen them, and I don't think I have. Although I've been to a few things where I'm not entirely certain who I've seen.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm similar in the way that Utah Saints could well have played at Glastonbury or a festival I was at. And
yeah, exactly. I've been to Glastonbury several
heard them
times
in the background, but I don't remember.
It's entirely plausible that I was dancing
in the same way
in Glastonbury to Utah Saints at some point and I don't remember it.
But I'm joined as ever by Khornight you've heard already, and Danton at the beginning there. But Dreamland, say hello, Dreamland.
Hello. Yeah, I mostly just laughed through all of that. I have also seen the Prodigy live, in case that's relevant.
It is relevant, very relevant today. Danton, have you seen the Prodigy live?
It looks like I'm the only person who has not seen the Prodigy live.
I haven't either. I haven't seen the Prodigy live.
Oh, okay. Good.
Who have you seen? Who have you seen live, Danton? Can you?
I was feeling a bit left out there. To be honest, now I don't think I've ever been to like one of those big festivals. I've been to very few concerts. I've seen U2 live in Dublin in the Zooropa tour, which was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I've seen what are they called? Hang on a second. I think I've maybe been to 3 or 4 concerts in my life. I'll remember the name in a minute.
They were so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
They were so good that it's coming right back to me. It's actually one of my favorite bands as well, but I'm just totally blanking on that.
Yeah, I was going to say something like probably verging on the racist about Irish music and who else you'd seen.
Oh my god, here we go.
But I'm not going to.
You asked me if you've seen Michael Flatley or something.
Yeah, it was going to be something like that. I was going to say Mulligan and O'Hare, but they're the Vic
I have seen Christy Moore live.
Right.
Have you heard of Christy Moore?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen Christy Moore live, and that was.
You mentioned U2 already, so that was one of them off to kind of ticked off. Which as much as you may or may not like U2 now, I think it's fair to say at the time of the what was the tour you went to see, Danton?
Zooropa.
Zooropa. They were properly massive, and that was a proper show. So.
Yeah, I'd say that was at almost their peak.
Peak U2.
Where they were like a real worldwide kind of phenomenon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, that was definitely their peak. It wasn't necessarily when they were the best, but it was when they were the most popular. Yeah.
Joshua Tree, surely best. No. Yes.
I mean, I don't know about best because obviously that's very subjective, but I'd say that they were almost the biggest in terms of just their kind of draw and renown.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Elminster 111, which I believe is Larry. Hello, Larry. How are you doing? Dreamland gigs. Prodigy. Anyone else?
I mostly did festivals, and we're talking a long time ago now, but
Yeah,
it was mostly festivals. So I saw like Radiohead and people like Muse, like that was Reading mostly. That was all that sort of stuff.
I think we're all men of a certain age, aren't we? So it's going to be.
Well, yeah, I was going to say no, because this is relatively. I went when I was 18, 19, so I really wasn't appreciating the Radiohead.
I mean, I've got to be honest. I still don't like Radiohead, but
I don't particularly now. But I definitely didn't at 18.
No,
you're both wrong. They're amazing.
No, they're not. They're terrible.
I think they have some amazing songs, but yeah, I'm not a fan of their entire kind of catalogue.
I mean, basically, after OK Computer, I'm not a fan of the stuff they released after that.
See, I work with some young people, and there's a guy in his mid-20s who loves Radiohead, so we chat about music quite a lot, and we went on a long car journey together, and I put OK Computer on because with the power of Spotify, obviously everything's available at all times. And I thought it was a terrible dirge, like from start to finish. And I thought it was a terrible dirge back when it came out, and I still think it is. So I think I'm missing something. Missing emotion in my life, perhaps, but There we go. Hello, Gruff. Hello, Galentio91. We are talking
I
about
have just remembered.
gigs.
Just remembered the other band that I went to see,
the Dubliners,
which is no. Now we wait for Ethelred to name every single Irish band that ever existed. No, it was actually Morchiva. I saw them in Buenos Aires.
Oh,
okay,
that's pretty
nice.
cool.
And that was like just before the pandemic. So that was when Sky, their proper lead singer, had come back.
Danton, this is probably just a question for you. I don't know on Dreamland and Khornight's musical knowledge, but have you seen Gotan Project? They are, I believe, an Argentinian tango band.
I think they're actually like a French Argentinian fusion kind of band.
Is that like part of Manu Chao and
yeah, very similar.
Well?
Yeah, it's very similar to that. I saw them at.
It's basically like a modern take on tango, but I mean, when I say modern, I mean I think they've been around for 10 or 15 years at least, haven't they, if not more?
Yeah, I saw them at what's that like family festival that's near Norwich, Dreamland Khornight? Do you know what it's called? It's like the really posh middle class one. That's not really.
Radio 1's one that they because that's out in Norwich, but I don't know.
Yeah,
if that's the one you're thinking of.
I can't remember what it's called now, but it's like a really really sedate, very twee festival. I saw them there basically, so that was quite good. Anyway, yeah, I thought you might know them because they are, from memory, they were Argentinian. But yeah, they're good. I mean, if you got a bit of chance, Gotan Project.
Yeah, I have. I remember. I don't know if it's their first album or how many albums they've actually done, but there was one album of theirs that I did listen to a lot at one time.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Gruff says to you, Danton, do you not know all the cores?
Personally, of course, they're all my neighbours.
Yeah, went to school with one of them, of course. That's
that would be a no.
Stereotypes out of the way.
I make this joke. But...
Yeah, Cranberries the same.
Yeah. Oh, Cranberries! I sing Zombie a lot.
I've seen the Cranberries. I saw them supporting REM at Milton Keynes Bowl in, I believe, 1997.
Nice. I was in the Milton Keynes Bowl for Metallica and the Monsters of Rock thing. That was Donington, wasn't it? Donington?
Yeah. The only notable thing the REM gig was obviously fantastic. I'm a big REM fan, but for some reason I wore white jeans to like an outdoor concert.
Oh my God.
And I gotta tell you, that was a mistake.
I mean,
that was a
mistake.
mistake.
Some reason you wore white jeans.
I don't know. I know. I don't know why I wore white jeans. I don't know why I wore white jeans anyway. I'm not really a white jeans kind of guy, but I did. And
10 years too late for the 80s.
Yeah. And they weren't white by the end of the concert anyway.
And they were brown jeans by the end of it.
Yeah, I looked like I shit myself. Hi Nibenon. Yeah, I thought I'd give you a ping after your comment last week.
I thought about that. Thanks for that.
Yeah, okay. So any other band connections we want to get out of the way before we start actually doing what we meant to be doing?
I saw Nirvana before he shot himself. And I've met Courtney Love in a party once.
Oh.
So my dad lives in Seattle. So,
And both of those things were non-related.
Yeah, well, they're both related to the fact that my dad lives in Seattle, and I went to visit him and got free tickets to see Nirvana one Christmas. And
hopefully you were like, oh God, who are these guys?
No, they are also one of my favorites. There's yeah, they're really good. Sorry. I mean, I think generally most music is good. There's a lot of
Wouldn't go that far.
Trying to make partisan arguments between artists and have like, oh, I like Oasis and I don't like Blur because
that was manufactured, wasn't it? I lived through that. And...
I think even if it's not manufactured, I think people tend to fall asleep, right?
There is definitely such a thing as terrible music.
There is terrible music, but if a band is famous enough to be big, they've probably got some good songs.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it is. But having said that, that maybe the last thing on this before we look at Blood Bowl is Oasis or Blur, Khornight.
Or both.
Okay.
But recently, in the 90s, Blur, but recently more Oasis. I definitely enjoy a bit of nasal shouting of lately.
3-chord brilliance.
Yeah, and
Danton, Oasis or Blur?
I'd have to lean slightly to the Oasis side.
And actually, I just remember what my 90s answer to that would be. My 90s answer to that would be Pulp.
Pulp, okay.
Yeah.
Dreamland?
I'd go more Blur because I don't think I've ever sung or listened to an Oasis song that I wasn't already drunk. Like, I think I've chosen to listen to Blur. I don't think I've ever chosen to listen to Oasis without already being drunk.
That's a great answer. And that's I think my answer. Suede, a good shout from Gruff as well. But yeah, who hasn't sung full-throated Cigarettes and Alcohol? But you have to be 3-4 pints in, don't you? Absolutely. So
exclusively at a wedding as well. I think. I think it can only be at a wedding.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to have any alcohol in you to sing along full-throated to Wonderwall, do you?
Yeah, you do. If you're British, you do, Danton. I mean, you Irish types, you sing at the top of a hat, don't you? But on the other side of the Irish Sea, it's a different story.
You missed out the opportunity to make a drunken Irish stereotype instead of
Yeah.
But fine.
Well, I'll save some in the bank, haven't I?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out what the Irish, English, Argentinian stereotype is.
Something about fighting yourself, stealing your own land, and then starving yourself. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I was going to mention steaks or something because that's Argentinian, isn't it? But potatoes, always potatoes. Anyway, should we talk some Blood Bowl? Because
it's probably better to start talking about Blood Bowl.
I've actually been reading a lot about the potato famine, and I don't think we should. I now feel
you had to go straight. You had to go, Khornight, you have to go straight there to the potato famine. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, it is always the elephant in the room when you meet Irish people, but yeah, you have to go straight there and mention it. Jesus.
Well, that's the reason for mentioning potatoes at all, right?
Well, I think it was just a food-related thing from Larry, to be honest.
Oh, of course.
I mean, he's Polish. He wouldn't know about that, would he?
Well, the Poles are like the island of the west. East.
Right, let's move on before we get into real trouble. Poor Niben is watching for the first time and thinks we fucking, I don't know, Jesus Christ. Anyway,
any minute now, Twitch is just going to completely ban us.
Yeah, we're going to get right kicked off. Okay, right. So, I don't know. What should we do? Should we look at the champs? Because I said that's what we're going to do, and Niben is on as well. So we should look at that.
Yeah.
I pressed the wrong button straight away. My panic over possible racism charges. I mean, have you seen that footballer who got basically cancelled? That's the word I was looking for, because he kicked his cat across the room. I mean, that was just a cat. I mean, we're talking about.
Are you saying me saying the word potato famine is worse than kicking a cat?
I don't know what I'm saying about. I'm not going to say anything about anything.
No comment. Just
no comment. Yeah, no comment that out.
Talk about champs.
Yeah, there we go. Let's talk about the champs. Right. So
I was trying to point out that
just to be clear, Ethel, you are going to be taking down the VOD afterwards, right?
Yeah, I think I'll have to. No, I'm going to put it everywhere as usual. Right, champs. So we played week 1, and do you know what? I've actually looked at these games, and that's what I was doing before we started, so I can talk about them with a bit of authority. And depending on how up for it you feel, there's some couple of talking points for them as well. Should we have a look at that? What do you think?
Yeah. But,
should we do
when you say talking point, do you mean 20 minutes of you showing diced or not replays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
The only thing I would say is betting. I mean, that's something that we should do, but maybe just go through it really quickly.
What? Just do the betting really quickly first of all?
I mean, just to kind of, tally up the points and see where we are.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, we could even just do the betting points. Do we need to we should do it before the stream starts, shouldn't we? That's what we should do. That would make more sense. And wouldn't take very long.
And you miss out on all the excitement in Escobar's face whenever he gets a point.
Yeah.
Okay. I should probably set this up beforehand. But let's get rid of the old scores. Okay, so how do you want to work it? Do you want to do talking points, get quick summary of the games first, or do you want to do...
Yeah, let's do summary of the games and talking points. And maybe we can do the betting kind of at the same time, but quickly type thing.
Okay, all right.
It'll just be a sentence, won't it?
Yeah. Okay. Right, I'll have to F11 that. Right, okay, first game, because this is the order they came up in. I'm just going to get rid of the text for that. There we go. Right, first game then was 2-2. This was Varus versus Guido Baggins, so a nice 2-2 here. And I mean, the talking point on this one, there's only a few things to show you, really. I'm not going to go into too much detail for each one. But I heard you laughing there, someone. But
that was me, because like I see an instant talking points in the stats, which is that Varus had the ball for 68% of the game, and the Elder Children had the ball for 12% of the game, which, considering they scored twice, suggests to me they did either one turns or they weren't holding onto the ball at any point. They just picked it up and threw it in.
The talking point for me is this move here, right? This is the move to score. This is to their turn 3, right? So you can see hopefully where the ball is. I'm not going to move my mouse here, but the ball is towards the bottom of the screen, just above the 4-yard line. That is being held there. And the move, which is a talking point for me, is this 3+ dodge out of a tackle zone, which you can hopefully see with the 1 and the 3. That's on the other half. Hopefully you can see that. Someone say yes, they can see it.
Yep, this is it.
So yeah, that's the 3+ move, and that's into a scoring area. And then the scoring move is this one, moving down and passing that. So, I mean, is that too early to score? I mean, that's an Ethelred move. That is. I mean, that's a gamble. That's a 3+. All right, he's got dodge, but still. And then, do you want to be scoring that early?
Was the ball safe when he did the 3+?
The ball's fairly safe. I mean, the ball is.
There's a wizard. There's 2 wizards, in fact. Is this a wizard stadium?
It could be. No, it's a referee area. It's
oh, they both bribed.
Yeah. Is there a wizard? There's no wizard.
Sorry, misread the thingies.
So this was the elves, right? The elves that scored on turn 3?
Elves scored turn 3, yeah. That's the first talking point.
I mean, yeah, it's a choice, right? But yeah, it's not what I would do.
So wait, they both got a bribe. What do the Southern Sentinels have next to their bribe at the top?
Babe, I think.
Babe and an Apo.
Oh, okay, yeah, Babe.
Just an Apo and a... Yeah.
Babe like a football to me, but anyway.
How many had the elves lost any players by this stage?
No.
1.
Oh, they lost 1. Sorry, yeah. 1. They're tackling badly.
And they don't have a bench as well.
Yeah.
It's an interesting choice.
To me, it's just leaving you open to the 2-1 grind. But I don't know. Maybe he scored. Did he score a 1-turner in turn 16?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So I mean, that's just the other talking point at the end here, which is I mean that may be questionable, but essentially what happened is Guido scored 1 back, held on to it for the most of for the first half of the Varus. Sorry, scored 1 back. Varus held on to it for most of the second half, then scored near the end. And then he scored a 1-turner. But the second talking point that I want to look at is Varus's setup. So his 1-turner is here, is somewhere around. Oh, it's not there yet because he's not placed them. But anyway, that's his defensive setup there. So maybe it's better to show you this turn 15, turn 16 at the beginning. Maybe it's better to show you here, right? So his 1-turner is.
Yeah, it's not a great defensive setup. It's just chevrons.
Yeah, and that's just chevrons. But he knows he's got a 1-turner. It's a natural 1-turner as well. So he's a movement 10. And yeah, I'm sorry, Varus, but that's a poor setup against a 1-turner, isn't it?
Against Manati, like basically your choice is back line, isn't it?
It's back line. It's got to be back line, surely. I mean,
I mean, the only bad thing about back line is if you get a blitz, you can't take advantage of it, right?
But it's turn 16, Danton, and you're.
I mean, you can take advantage
but what I mean, I've had 1-turners. 1-turners. I mean, one which is quite effective, especially against my 1-turner, is you back line, but with 2 spaces between everyone. Because I mean, it makes no difference really, because my guy's got leap as well, so it's always going to be the same. So back line with 2 spaces, and you move 2 people up to be sort of close to the line of scrimmage. So if you do get a blitz, you can blitz the 1-turner. I think actually that happened in our game, Khornight, the first time we played.
Yeah, it did. I mean, yes, but like even if you backline fully and then that was before you had leak, by the way. So I think maybe I didn't backline fully, but you can, I can backline fully, and then if I get a blitz, you just move everyone so they're in the way of where the one turner is, because he doesn't have much option to go left or right. So you can make him make a lot more dodges if he's trying to just use his natural one turner, right?
Yeah, I mean, basically, chevrons is not a good option because it's easy to blitz one of the chevrons out of the way.
Yeah,
it's pretty much a 2+, and then the one whatever the one turn numbers are. Like to blitz one of the side pieces and just run down the side, or with the chevron setup, you could even just create a gate dodge through, and it'd just be a 1 in 36.
Are the side pieces sidesteppers? He's got two sidesteppers, right? I was just checking to see if he had a.
So you just take your LOS blocks, just make a hole in the middle.
Yeah,
that's what he did. I mean, I'm showing it on the screen now. So he did as you said, Dribbling. So he picked. I mean, the hardest bit here was probably picking up the ball and passing it, but and the catch. And then he made one block, got what he needed with that, and then it was a 2+ dodge, and then just the GFIs to score, and that was it. So, not a great defense, I would say. But
no, I mean, there's a reason that it's been taken out of the game is that it's always quite high odds in terms of it, but you're just making it almost like routine, I guess. It's just I don't know how many it is total. It's probably 6 2s or 7 2s total to be able to score. It's not huge dice really in general, especially with rerolls built in for a lot of that and team reroll in hand.
No, I mean he rerolled the he got skull both down for the first block, so he rerolled that, which may have made the GFIs a bit nervous, but again it's a 2+, isn't it? So
and he's got short feet and dodge and catch, so all those things have built-in rerolls, and that does make a difference. I once worked it out that if you don't have catch, the actual the kickoff event and then picking up the ball and getting it to the catcher brings down the chance of doing the one turn considerably on its own. But obviously having catch skill makes that a bit easier. And you probably use the part thrower as well and whatever. But it's still it's not as likely as you'd think. That there are a lot of dice to roll.
Yeah. I mean, they do. Obviously, I have a natty, and they do fail surprisingly quite a bit.
I mean, they fail even. I think I had one in my game against Keith where I can't remember if I did now, but it's certainly in one of my games I got the pushes all right, but then the pick up and the pass it.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, but we're talking really about a natty, right? Where you don't have to do any pushes. But even a natty, I mean, snake eyes are not uncommon when you have to roll that many dice in a row.
I think it's somewhere in the. It's not obviously all the team rerolls built in, all the skill rerolls built in fakes makes it much more difficult. But I think it's somewhere. It's still only 50%, I think, or something in that region. Yeah. It's not automatic, no. But doing it like this probably takes it 10-20% higher, I would guess, having this sort of setup as opposed to just backlining and making him roll 3-3-2 or whatever it is to get through the backline.
It's not a plus agi one turn or anything, so
it's still hard. It's 4-3-2.
Yeah.
Not if they have the only the 2 gap backline. If they only have 5 men on the backline. If they do a full backline, then
then
it's just one tackle zone, no tackle zones.
Yeah, Varus has enough players to do the double tackle zones in all the gaps, so you might as well.
Anyway, that's the talking point from that one. A question from Larry. He says, "How do you find Brett's long term in developed leagues?" And I'd say in the OCC they perform pretty well. I mean, this is the champs, right?
You get a performance bias thing where you see the teams that do well because they're at the top, and you don't notice all the teams that crash and burn. Because the main problem is running out of players lower down.
I mean, you say that, but I mean, so they have won champs. I mean, Pidpad did it early on when it was low TV, so that's not really the same thing. But then, who was it? Count Mathis won it a few seasons ago at high TV. And you see there are 3 or 4 Brett teams kind of hanging around the top tiers, so they seem to be decent in this kind of league.
I'd argue that's the coach rather than the team, though.
Well, it must be the team a little bit as well, given average dice.
I mean, I'd say it was the coach if it was like a one-off case, but the fact that there are 3 or 4 of them, I mean, obviously they're not bad coaches, but they do seem to have a decent amount of longevity, given that they're an AB8, AB7 team.
Yeah, and he did. It answers your other question, Larry, as well. He has got 5 tackle as well, so he could have one, 2,
Yeah, 5. 5 is how many you need.
3,
54?
5. Yeah, 5. No, 5 you can do it with. So he should have, in my opinion, he should have done that really. Backline it with a tackle and then.
Like, they're coached by coaches who like fouling, but whether they have any DP is another matter. So foul orientated is a kind of strong word. They will foul you. I don't know any of the Brett coaches that won't stick the boot in at some point. But
Yeah, but Varus does love a good foul. I mean, I wonder actually how many fouls he did in this game.
Well,
Varus has 2 dirty players, but Count Mathis doesn't have any.
Due to the awful API that we get, we'll never know how many fouls he got, unless it's in the fouling competition thing as well.
I was literally just going to have a look there.
All right, so that was the first game. The next game we'll look at is Ruspel's Pontifices versus...
Just to say, if you want to do the betting quickly in parallel,
yeah.
Good idea.
This is actually, it's a quick one because 0 points.
Oh, that's really quick.
Well,
No one bet on a draw? Fair enough. Okay, next game is Ruspel's Pontifices versus Jump All Stars. Again, I'll let you have a quick look at the stats there. And maybe
8 Kaz. 8 Kaz is the only stat I need to look at.
1 death. And it was a good death as well. It was our old friend Gregorius the First, who finally bought the farm, kicked the buckets, whatever you want to call it.
I think he did him a favour by killing him, to be honest.
Yeah, because he's fast, but he didn't have anything else amazing, did he? So
I mean, was it the Natty?
Well, he's the ex-Natty,
no,
right? Because
he'd taken
he was a Natty, and then he was move busted, and I think he was armor busted as well. I mean, at that point, he's a bit bloaty, really.
I mean, and the other strip ball one, use strength 1, got another niggle as well. So it'd be interesting to see if he's still on the team.
All niggled strength 1 is not a good recipe for staying on the pitch.
but he is kamikaze skink, isn't he?
Yeah,
stunty niggle as well.
That's +3, right, to injuries.
+2, but yeah.
All right. So this game, again, there was a thing at the beginning, a riot. So they missed out a turn at the beginning, and really I'm trying to find it here. Yeah, it was quite good. I think it was turn 5. Oh no, turn 4. Turn 4. By the end of that one, if we look here. Maybe it's even this turn.
Quickly going back to Varus's thing, he only fouled 5 times,
only 5.
In two KOs and 1 injury and 0 send-offs. So that's pretty effective fouling.
It's pretty effective. So I mean, it's turn 4, and already Raspel has got 2 in the injury bank. He's got Skink injured, and it's disappeared now, but and also a Saurus is in there as well. So he was lacking Saurus anyway for this game, but he did manage to steal it on turn 4 in a sort of great move, which was
the wizard. Was the wizard involved in that?
No wizard at all. It was the previously boneheaded Crocs just went straight in and knocked the ball free, which is fantastic. I mean, you've got to wonder why RTSD didn't defend the ball a bit better there.
Yeah, maybe he was too busy trying to kill fouling. Things.
Because he kind of when he blocks with that guy, he follows up, I think, and that moves the cover from the cage. So when it comes to it was that's what it was. He got both down. That's what it was. So he got both down on that alleged cage corner, which meant the Crocs could just run in.
So he had a turnover.
Yes, he had a turnover, got the ball free, and then if you look at the end state here, which I'm showing you now, that Skink is well clear, isn't he? And essentially he held on to it until quite near the end and then just ran it in. So that was where Raspel's score came from. I mean, if I show you the beginning of turn 9, I mean, this is really why they couldn't do much about the score, because they've got a badly hurt, three Sauruses who are badly hurt. That one's got MNG, I think. That Benedict is the fourth, got another Niggle. They've only got
four players.
Five players. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 players. But it's not quite over yet, because he gets it quite just far over the line here at the end of turn 10, right, which is pretty good. And then has to retreat backwards. No, turn 10, he has it there. Then he gets surfed, unfortunately. And really, the Nurgle are kind of saved by the ball landing here, where you can see it at this side, because it's, in the clear kind of thing. It's ideally placed for them to get to it. But in his return, when he gets the ball again, he's kind of blocked off from getting any further at this turn 14 here, so he can't really get past this screen, and he goes back and just basically protects the ball until the end. And then last turn 16, I think he could have scored at this point, but the beast is tagging him now, and the first move that he makes is a failed dodge. Double ones that dodge off. But again, I mean, the only talking point here is, surely at this point you just go for it, wouldn't you?
What's your definition to go for it? What, try and dodge away from pentacles?
Dodge
with the strength 1 player.
Strength 2.
This is just before he got killed. Yeah.
This is where he died, maybe on the snake.
10, 11.
No, it was a different player.
That was a different player.
So
and then turn 16.
He probably got surfed and got killed by the surf.
Unfortunately, got piled on. He got piled on.
All right.
It was a stun, and obviously RTSD loves the piling on button, so he pressed it again, and that killed him.
I should point out that the warrior with was it with the warrior or was it with the beast with the pestigore? Well, both of the players with piling on have 240 or 50 SPP, right. So the piling on is in no way beneficial to his team.
It's just out of spite, basically.
I mean, spite's a strong word. It's
turn 16. Who's not going to pile on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was kind of in a way lucky, because Pig God, who's the beast, had to GFI to tag the skink. And actually, I don't think he could have scored, actually. So maybe I was talking rubbish before. So he's there. He's movement 9. Has he got sprint?
Yeah, he did. He's got sprint sure feet.
Oh yeah, he has. So I mean, I think I would have gone for it.
I'm not sure what you mean by gone for it.
As in, my first move would have been to move the skink and score.
What strength do against strength 5?
Got to dodge past tentacles twice.
Yeah, but what else are you going to do? He's going to get. He's not getting surfed because he's got sidestep. But it's 1-1. It's your last turn. Why don't you just go for it?
Okay, so to escape from the tentacles, he needs to roll a 12.
Yeah, Khornight, I know all this.
Right.
This is all known. But what else are you going to do? It's turn 16. You want to win the game.
I mean, does the beast have stand firm? Does the beast have stand firm?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're screwed basically.
I know. I know you're screwed. But just roll dice, isn't it? Why isn't that? What I'm saying is, why isn't that your first move to try and score with the skink? That's what I'm saying.
Maybe there's more sensible dice rolling options. So he might have stand firm, but if that dodge out might be to allow a Saurus hit on the beast, which might.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4 skinks left on the pitch.
Is that that's all? And you can't get any assists on the.
It's red dice or nothing.
Does he have sidestep?
Was it the wrestle Dauntless one that
has sidestep? Yeah.
Is the wrestle one still on the pitch?
No. You've got a block one there. He's got sidestep, and the dirty player is the one he moves first, and he double ones the dodge.
Would the aim have been to make a T shape with not the beast and push a square forward using by pushing into him? So there's another player next to him who isn't the beast, right? Use that player to push into the the fast skink.
Would he not have dodged that the other way then?
I don't know. Like it's hard for us to know the thinking, but that if that is
well,
better
you can see the board state on the screen. I mean, what
is he trying to go back to tag the scoring threat for the Nurgle and just try and sort of make the draw as likely as possible before taking the nonsense dice to try and win yourself? You might as well try and minimise the counter score as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it did fail. He dodged there fine, and then he double wand that dodge. So yeah, I guess he's trying to tag that first.
I would go for making the draw as high odds as possible before rolling.
Yeah,
essentially
exactly.
a 0.5% score.
What is that? Is that a Pestigore or a?
Yes,
it is a Pestigore, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine he was probably thinking of doing a 1D blitz on it, just to try and mark it with 2 skinks and kind of push it 1 square further away.
As it's the only scoring threat as well, I'd probably try that first as well to try and make the draw, because you're very unlikely to win from here, so you might as well try and...
Yeah. Well, that's true.
The odds of scoring are astronomical. I mean, it is literally the only thing you can do is to try and make it as much a draw as possible.
Yeah, the score is like less than 1 in 1,000 and something or other, right? So, and that's just the dodging through tents twice.
Yeah, it's going to say you have to roll 12 twice, so that's already heading up into the high hundreds, and then you've got to add in a few threes.
You're already in
twos.
Ethelred territory there.
Yeah.
You're already beyond Ethelred's maths territory as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, so we should probably move on and not spend half an hour on each game.
We've not spent a half an hour, have we? Okay, all right, fine. Well, betting.
That's a yes, we have, isn't it?
This is actually. I thought it'd be an interesting talking point. This is a chance.
It would have been interesting if the answer wasn't so obvious. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Danton gets his back for all the Irishisms.
But betting wise, this is actually really annoying because when we talked through the betting the last time, everyone had bet on John Ball Stars, and then Khornight decided to change his mind based on the conversation we had, and he's the only one who went for a draw.
Oh, joking. Okay, I know you can't see that very well because of how the screen's set, but I'll put that on point on. Okay.
Well, and the opposite happened with my game, where talking to Danton just had voted for me before the thing, and at the end we chatted for a little bit at the end of the stream after the stream finished, and he decided to change his vote away from me winning, and I won.
Joy.
Okay, right. Next game then is Orcs versus Chorfs. Again, that's the stats there. So I mean, it wasn't a casualty fest or anything like that. This one.
58 blocks though.
Yeah, let's just go back there. Yeah, 27 versus 58. So that's pretty rough.
Yeah, there was a bit of snowballing happen there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can see. I mean, there's not. This. Funny enough, this game not much happened really. Like the Chorfs walked it in. First turn on turn 8, as you might imagine.
I mean, like basically, not many cans, but the Orcs did sustain.
Yeah, they lost quite a few players. Yeah, exactly. They lost quite a few people. But
quite surprised actually. The betting on this was as evenly spread out as it was, because to me it seemed like a fairly no-brainer. But only Ethelred and I bet on the Chorfs winning. And, that's despite Ethelred's Chorf animosity.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, I went for a draw. I actually, Luke's a really good coach. I've seen him coach in other places than OCC. I trust his ability in this case rather than the team matchup.
Yeah, I mean, he was holding on the Goblin here on turn 8. I mean, he was well deep in his own half, and he's on the touchdown line there, as you can see. And he got blitzed basically, and then lost the ball, and it was a kind of fortunate bounce. But he didn't really have any players left to screen with, to be quite honest with you. So that was it. So it was a chore steal first half, and then second half they just, as you can probably guess, just caged it up and then ran it in. So it wasn't nothing too bad. I mean, they scored on a chore, which is always nice, isn't it, for them? But
look at that. Is that 8 orcs in the out of play?
Exactly. Well, you're not going to do much about that, are you? So
No.
Yeah, at least they were KOs and not injuries.
yeah. So not there was no talking points in that game really, because the Chorfs removed the orcs and then just picked it up and ran it in. So not much.
Basically went according to
according to Chorf law. So sorry, Danton, what did you say about the betting for this one? Did you say anything about that?
Just you and me.
Good work. Okay. Okay, and then the next game is Andy Davo's game, Justice Philippe versus Kingdom of Swadia. Again, there's not too much to talk about this one. Andy won in the end 3-1. And again, turn 3, turn 4.
The only important question is, were any elves hurt in the making of this movie?
There were some elves hurt, but not permanently.
No, 0 perms.
This is the start of Varus's turn 4, and he's got the ball in scoring range here, but Andy's managed to tag it with the diving tackle. He can't really go and get anyone there. He's already got 2 people KO'd there as well. So this is when he uses the wizard. He uses the wizard on the on that war dancer, and actually it's quite a good wizard because it does badly hurt him. And then he scores shortly after. But again, I don't know. Would you view? I mean, looking at the board state, I think it's the right thing to do. But would you use the wizard there, turn 4?
He only had 7 players left on the pitch, and all of them are in the reserves, which makes me think that they all got surfed. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Having watched an Andy Defoe stream, I imagine there was some frenzy and some people got surfed. So I imagine that the potato was enforced by numbers. So using the wizard is probably Sorry, go ahead.
He's got a strength 4 war dancer with frenzy, right? And we all know that Andy Dava likes a good surf.
Indeed, he does. Yeah.
So I might have used the wizard because it might be the only chance you're going to have to score that. Like, I know it's obviously not ideal, but the alternative's not great. I don't know if it's an adjup ball carrier there, but if not, it's a 5. So even with dodge, that's 50% to score. It's not a great situation. I don't think it's. I probably would have tried the 5 maybe, and then hoped to only go 1-0 down at the half and turn over maybe. But I don't hate it as a position because you're already in up shit creek a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the trouble is the wizard against Woodies anyway is not the greatest. If Andy turns you over and scores on you, then he's just going to be scoring quickly again straight after, and you'll be 2-0 down, and you're not going to get a good opportunity to wizard anything ever. So I think that there's lots of reasons why it's not a terrible choice.
Yeah, I mean, at that stage, if you're already being kind of corralled into using the wizard, you're already pretty screwed, and you're down players against Woodies, so you're getting a bit desperate.
Not just a few down either. You're 3 down. Well, you're 4 up before the wizard as the Woodies. Like, it's not even a small difference. It's a huge difference, and not in an elf v elf where you might be able to just quick score and hope for the best. You're really struggling, so to get any situation where you can score is probably for the best.
Yeah, absolutely. As Niberon points out in the chat as well, which I missed actually, it was Andy's offence. So Varus, Count Mathers had stolen the ball from Andy and then got it in this position. So yeah, I think based on all that, it's a wizard is probably the best choice there, isn't it?
All right, so he had turned the elves over.
Yeah, he turned the elves over. So
I suppose, yeah, and that going back to the old surfing, I guess that's because Andy Davo got surf happy and just left the ball carrier exposed, maybe.
Well, you can see it here. This is the board state at the start of turn 2. This is where the steal happens. I mean, it's a couple of GFIs to get there, but the ball is not massively safe, to be quite honest with you, as you can see from here. And then, yeah, he goes in there, gets a block. The ball is in the middle there. It's a pick up in tackle zones as well, but it's Griff who picks it up. and then passes to that guy who hadn't moved, and then he's the one that runs kind of clear. So yeah,
and this is also the scenario that's led to a lot of players getting surfed. Is he's had to put numbers over on the touchline to try and do the recovery. So
here, I mean, I think Griff got surfed in the turn as well. So I mean, that's a classic Davo surf opportunity, isn't it? There, which you can see now. So
I wonder if Davo actually left it open on purpose.
To create surf chance.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, he may have baited it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can. There's a lot of dice to roll for that to actually work. So it's not a terrible bait. Assuming that something might fail and he doesn't get the ball away. If you got surfs and still had the ball, or got the ball back at the end of it, then.
Yeah, and then Andy, as you can see, I mean, there's a bit of play beforehand, but he's caged up pretty solidly here. He's got a really nice screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Bretts left on the pitch. 2 are badly hurt, 3 are KO'd. So yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do to prevent that score. And then in the second half, again, it was kind of the Griff show, but there was a big Griff got kind of into trouble here. So we just before this we had a base cage, and then Andy's got a strength 4 wrestler, I think. Lino, this guy here, yeah. Oh no,
I think is it the Blodge Mighty Blood tackle?
Yeah, this it is Good Eyes, spelt wrong, I think that is, but it was him anyway, and he went in and he's the one who used his tackle on Griff, and then got the ball free, and then it was Elf score, and then that was more or less game really. There was not much to say about that. Apart from at the very end, you can see the ball right in it was in this corner with Griff, but he got tackled. The ball went out, and then the ball again, quite fortunately, but not massively, landed fortuitously for the Elves, and they ran it in for the third. So but again, I don't know what much more you could have done. You got Griff back there, turn 15, set up here. Yeah. So the ball landed in this bottom right hand corner. There was a blitz result, and Andy just chucked everyone down this side. But again, without support, I mean, you pick up the ball from there. Where are you throwing it to? You're not really throwing it to anywhere, are you? So it was quite difficult for Mathas to recover that. But there we go. And then turn 16, not much. Again, not much happened. Just normal stuff. So 3-1 for Andy.
I assume everyone bet for Andy winning this one, right?
Yeah,
I don't think there was
everyone did. I mean, and I think everyone was hoping for at least one elf to die, which would have, at least made it into an interesting result.
But no, just a few badly hurt.
But so, no.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, Bretts aren't particularly bashy, are they? But
they can't be surprisingly bashy. I mean, if they have 1 or 2 like Mighty Blow and a couple of DPs, they can do quite a bit of damage.
By the way, Gruff didn't bet, but Spider did.
Dreamland did. Anyone else?
Yeah, Spider instead of Gruff.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Cool. And then just the last game was Motivated Squad versus Warpstone Watchers. And again, if you have a quick look at the casualties here, you can probably see why Nibelin won.
This was high damage as well, wasn't it? It wasn't just removals for the game or something like that. I think there was multiple deaths both sides or something.
Quite horrible. So the Chores had it at the beginning, and then I think they ran it in. Oh no, it got free. Yeah.
This is what you like to see when there are claw pommers on both sides. Rather than it being a pillow fight, you do like to see a bit of death.
Yeah. So this is turn 7, and again, this is why Warpstone Watchers lost 2-0 because although the ball is free on a good blitz there, He's got Lyman dead. The horned tackle Gobbo is badly hurt. Another Gobbo is badly hurt. You got 3 KOs there, including the troll. But best of all, this Chorf is dead. Look at that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I think he niggled another Chorf as well. That's not even.
And then at the very end of the game, I just click on turn 16 there.
Oh no, it was a Bull Centaur.
It was Bull Centaur's niggle, so that's really good news for everyone else. Not for you, Nibin, unfortunately.
Nibin is in the chat listening to us go, "Oh look, a Chorf dead!" Yay!
I know he's probably hating us, but a Chorf dead is bad, but that is really painful, isn't it, to have a niggle on a player like that?
115 SPP, yeah. And he's not really a very safe player. Being the frenzy player, he's going to get into trouble.
Yeah, and they're only are they armor 8 bulls as
well?
No,
they're 9.
No, they're 9. They're 9.
That one's armor 8. Was he bust already, Nibin? I guess he was.
He must. Yeah, he was armor busted, I think.
So that's horrible. And then a rookie goblin, that's not too bad. And a strength, an armor bust on again a rookie gob. I mean, that's not too hobgob. Sorry, that's not too bad.
Yeah. No, you don't care about that.
And
was this a won the battle, lost the war situation?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the dead Chorf was movement 3. Yeah, we should point that out as well. So he's quite happy that he's
a little bit of TV trimming could do the team some good.
Not too bad.
And Wolf apologised to the channel for killing for the damage he caused. Well, so nice. And said he wasn't really feeling motivated for OCC, whether he regretted kind of signing up a little bit.
Okay.
Well, I mean, playing Underworld in Champs is a bit like swimming in treacle, isn't it?
Yeah, and also starting against Chorf's not the greatest.
Not the greatest start. I mean, he lost a. Yeah, I mean, he's not too bad. I guess that's just MNG. Oh, okay. Or is that? Yeah, that's not a star or anything, is it?
He had a line. Didn't he have a line rat killed?
Line rat killed.
Yeah,
he was only a rookie, so that's not.
He didn't apo it or anything. He just let it die.
Let it die.
Yeah.
You would let it die, wouldn't you? But yeah, so yeah, as Nibin says, it hurts because he can't really fire him if he wants to go for the trophy. And no, that's right, because he's quite well developed, but painful.
Yeah, you don't want to have a 0 skill bull in his place, do you?
No.
And his team is kind of so high TV that he's not going to be getting inducement bulls or anything like that, is he? So
he's trying to rebuild it in Champs, regardless of whether you're trying to go for the trophy or just consolidate. Trying to rebuild in Champs is good. With some of the teams that are in there this season, it's just going to lead to probably going for a couple different balls trying to get one back. So it's probably worth just keeping it short term at least.
Yeah,
I don't think you can sack it.
No, I don't think you can either. Although you'd be tempted, but yeah, it's the right move to keep him. And all that means, this is the table. That's the 5 games. So this is the table. So again, it's really early days, but Davo, Ant-Man and Nibin all won, so they're top. And yeah, you can read the rest of the results. So, but it's far too early to say, but there we go.
Betting wise,
one. Yeah.
So again, only 2 people went for Nibin, and they were Spider and me.
Already putting out ahead again, Danton. Huh?
I've got to get my revenge after Ethered's surprise win last season.
After not winning it for a season.
So
luckily we're doing 4 divisions now, so at least there's volume to work with. If you don't have good champs like I have, I've at least got volume. That's the
This is the thing. The important thing is not to forget to put your bets in.
Yeah, put all the bets in, because I think we're going to shortly draw to a close when we've done the betting for this week, but we'll do the rest of the divs tomorrow, including the rundown of the scores. But obviously we won't analyse the games in so much detail, apart from mine, which we'll spend a good 40 minutes on. Okay, so sorry, Danton, you scored a point. Who else scored a point? Spider, did you say, on that one?
Spider, yeah.
Okay.
So do you want to do?
Well, I'll just get rid of that
next week.
Let's do next week's.
Yeah.
So, I think we can do that quite quickly, though, right?
Yeah, it should be pretty good. Okay.
But, I mean, I think it is worth looking quickly at the state of each team, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we'll look at quickly look at each team, and then we'll do the betting. So, I'll try and go fairly quickly. So Liquor Store squad is the Orcs. They're playing Andy. First of all, so his team is looking like this. So he's missing the AG4 Blitzer and a Lino, which isn't too bad. That means though he's only got one tackle. For the game.
I would say that's actually really bad for this matchup. I mean, that is one player you desperately need against this Wood Elf team.
I mean, just one tackle, and he hasn't got Mighty Blow either. And it's a lineman, so it's movement 5 as well. So that's quite upsetting.
No, he's got two. He's got two tackle.
Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, but that was his main kind of anti-elf blitzer.
Yeah.
I mean, Andy only has 6 Rogers, so Blodgers even. So, yeah, it's going to be bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be really bad.
There's 600 TV between them as well, and Orcs famously not the greatest at.
I mean, what do you take? Do you load up on bribes and DP, or what do you do?
I think you've got to. I mean, I suppose you might as well get a wizard just because it's another Mighty Blow hit on a 2+. But yeah, what else do you get?
I think the rest of the division would hope that he did that as well.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have a DP of his own.
No. But bribes. I mean, you want power, don't you? So, I mean, Varag's crap, isn't he? Because he hasn't got tackle. But he's Mighty Blow.
He does have Mighty Blow and he's strength 4. He's not terrible.
I mean, could you get a saw and load 3 bribes?
No. But, like, Scrapper and some bribes, he's a dirty player. He's not that expensive and he's fast.
Yeah, that could be all right.
I mean, obviously, against someone who's got lead, who's going to jump into your cage. Like, you don't really have there isn't really a good out. I think you have to go for the bribes and killing things, and worry about whether you're going to win it secondly.
And this is a game where your lovely goblin is unfortunately really shit.
Yeah, and also fouling sounds like a great idea, but it's not good for protecting the ball. You've got to dedicate players to it, resources. It's not going to be great for scoring. It's not.
This is exactly the game. This is exactly the game where the goblin that is 1 SPP off legend gets killed.
That's how
he can't carry on him obviously with the dancers as well. And as Galentio said in the chat, there's only 4 guard, so you pretty much have to commit all of the guard to being in that cage to help stop the dancer. So then you're gonna potentially get picked apart elsewhere, and sort of, if you could isolate any of those guards off, you're gonna it could fall apart quite quickly. You're gonna need a lot of things to go your way to sort of keep your drive together.
I mean, 2 of them stand firm. If you can get into a cage in the first place, and survive the Elfie onslaught that Andy will throw at you, but he's not gonna win. That's trouble.
Let's roll 6s. If he rolls 6s, he'll
be fine.
I mean, the only way he's going to win is if he, somehow removes like 3 or 4 elves in the first couple of turns, and then kind of gradually snowballs it from there. But that's going to be very hard.
Yeah,
I think we all know which way the predictions are going here. I don't think there's a mystery to come out of this.
No, let's point out. I do think Luke is a good coach.
Luke he is, but it's really stacked against him in this.
Based off the teams.
Yeah.
But do you know what? I'm going to go for Luke, just because I think everyone else is going to go for Andy. I'll be a wild card, even though I know in my heart that I think this is Andy's game. But
Stranger things have happened.
Danton?
Yeah. Dicings do happen, right?
Yeah.
I think, I just have to go for Andy. I just think it really has to be a pretty extreme dicing for him to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to lose a game or 2 this season, but it seems
I don't think it's going to be this one.
And Dreamland, what do you think?
Yeah, completely on board with that. I think it's obviously in the world of possibility. Anything can happen in Blood Bowl, but assuming everything else is equal, just looking at the 2 teams, I think there's quite a big gap there. So I'll go for Davo as well.
Okay, makes perfect sense. Okay, next game is Southern Sentinels versus Rasples Pontifices. So let's have a look at the Southern Sentinels first. They are the Brett team, which I think are pretty intact after last week. Yeah, they're pretty solid. 14 players, 19-10 in terms of TV. Probably stand out is Etienne the Black, as we've said before. He's and he stand out really because he's Agility 4, although he's moving to 6, which doesn't help. But
And he's a legend.
there we go. He's also a legend. Thank you. I mean, I guess Tancred is the killer, which we've seen before. The rest is pretty much standard. Again, kick on this guy. We've talked about this before, haven't we?
No, I don't think we have. I think it's. I mean,
at this level. I mean, what else are you going to get him, really? I mean,
stand firm is the skill that I would
That's what I was about to say.
put in that place. But I don't hate it. You know, like it's annoying putting kick on a peasant and then having to put the peasant in the second row.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's fine having kick on one of these guys. I mean, I understand why he wouldn't go stand firm because he's the most developed one. Stand firm would maybe mean that you'd be, putting him in trouble a lot more.
I mean, you don't need to stand firm. He could be, you could not use stand firm, and you don't put him in.
But yeah, I just mean having the skill means you're more likely to jam him in a place where he's going to get hit.
Yeah, true.
Rasple's down to 1480, although I'm sure he'll have some journeyman on top of this. He's missing again one Saurus for this game. And he's only got 70 KL, so I think I'd sack that one, wouldn't you? 6418.
I mean, you say he's missing one Saurus. He's missing one of the Saurus he owns, but he only has 5 Saurus.
Oh yeah.
So
two Saurus then, really. Isn't it?
Yes, exactly. And so I imagine the TV difference will be a couple of block Sauruses and Slibly or something.
So he's got another. How much is a rookie skin? Because they're 60, so he's got another 120.
60, yeah.
So he'll have 1680.
So actually, he's only going to have. I think he actually have 300 TV to play with, which isn't very much when you're buying.
Silly Billy.
Yeah, Silly Billy.
Silly Billy and another Saurus.
Yeah, true.
In answer to the other question, I would sack the Armor 8 Saurus. I'd rather just not. I know it's difficult in the current situation, but I just think that it's just asking to just get removed regularly.
But would you rather?
It's MNG. It's MNG, right? So I guess you wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I don't do it before this game. There's no need before the game.
No.
But
see, I think I would keep him. After this game, he'll presumably have enough cash for another Saurus, and then just put him on the line because that Saurus is better on the line than a skink, isn't it?
I mean, that's what I was going to say. Like, I'd rather have an AV8 Saurus than another skink on the team. By quite a long way.
You keep it until you can afford to replace it, basically.
Yeah, and then as soon as you can afford to replace him, then he's gone. Absolutely.
Or his existence changes whether you can afford an induced Saurus or whatever as well. Maybe
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this one's a bit harder to call because obviously Rascal has got less players and is lower TV, but what he has got is pretty good in terms of removal and strength, and even the skinks aren't too bad. I mean, he's missing his superstar skink. I mean, he's still there. I mean, I don't know how long he'll be there with 2 niggles and a strength bust, but perhaps he wants to go out in glory. I mean,
he's not long for the world. No,
What do you guys think about this player? I mean, what?
Yeah, once you keep him past the strength bust, then you're keeping him because he does really help the team. So however much I hate Nichols, I understand keeping him.
I mean, I think even regardless of the second niggle, he's just going to get removed the first time someone hits him anyway.
Yeah, at that point you go, well, it doesn't make it much worse, does it? It's like he could have 10 niggles if you know that he's going to pretty much, you've got to protect him at all times or he's leaving the pitch. You get one cage dive or whatever you need, like you get one attempt with him before he's toast.
Yeah, I mean,
then you sort of go like, well, fine.
Yeah, the first dodge he fails, he's just killing himself, really.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. The first time he rolls armor, there's a pretty good chance
he's leaving the pitch. Absolutely.
But people do roll 5s and 4s on armor rolls sometimes, and and a 3 on the injury roll is what he needs if it breaks armor. But
I mean, personally, I would get rid of him, but I mean, I guess he's got an emotional attachment to it as well.
I was going to say, if it's here now, it's not going. I wouldn't have kept a Strep 1 skink almost regardless of it. I know what it's built for, and that it doesn't. It just adds an extra. It becomes a 3+ rather than a 2+ on Dauntless for what it's trying to do. But
I don't think it's an emotional attachment. I think it's won him too many games. 90% of the time, or maybe even let's say like 60% of the time, he'll sack the ball with him rather than failing before that first attempt, right? And and for lizards who are generally outstrengthening their opponents and putting pressure on, it's an amazing weapon to have. That you don't really have in a lizard's arsenal. So it makes this team so much better by its existence, even if it's only there for 3 or 4 turns.
But it is a lot of TV for that slight edge.
It's a slight edge that I think has got him to champs, though.
Okay, and I've forgotten who he's playing now. Yeah, he's playing Citizen Sentinels, so a tougher one. I mean, I'm not going to go first this time, but yeah, Khornight, go on.
I've already gone for draw.
Oh, okay. Danton?
Yeah, I've already gone for Varus.
And Dreamland leaves you.
I went for Ruspel, mostly because I have an innate. I think Berts are terrible. They're the team that I have the worst overall record with. I just will naturally pick against Berts unless. This was about as close as I got to picking for Berts, but yeah, I like the. I think you get good inducements. I think there's a chance. I think also Bert's just like leaving the pitch.
I don't know. I mean, I think this is just a really good matchup for the Birds.
Yeah.
I mean, on paper, not only because of the fact that the lizards are quite decimated, but they have the built-in Dauntless. They've got the 2 DPs. I mean, the lizard men really suffer when they start to lose the big lizards. And a couple of fouls can really cause some problems.
Well, I'm fully aware that this is possibly my sort of personal bias coming in of the fact that I can't understand how anyone can play Berts well. So I just instinctively think that everyone that does must lose regularly. But
it's interesting. There was a conversation on, I can't remember which Discord it was recently, about what teams are good for beginners, and someone said, Bert's a good team for beginners, and I think they're a good team because they have block and wrestle to start with, which is nice, but they play so differently from what is the average way of playing Blood Bowl. I think that is the problem. Having your ablative armor players, or however you pronounce that word, ablative or whatever.
It is ablative, yeah.
Ablative? Okay, I thought so. Yeah, ablative is washing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, having 87 players who you're trying to put in the way, is kind of the wrong way around, and having the strength players being wrestle and your kind of catchers being your blitzers, and it's bad for beginners to learn to play Blood Bowl with this team because they're so different. Was the conclusion I came to, and I think that's true. They just play in a very different way from every other, from 80% of the Blood Bowl teams.
No, I think you're right there, Khornight, because I think another hybrid team that's suggested for beginners is Undead, but I think the difference between, obviously, one of the big differences between Brett's and Undead is that Undead, the players have got really clearly defined roles, but with Brett's that just isn't the case. Like you say, the strength skills are on the guys with wrestle. You've got fend on the players that would normally have it, and your blitzers are catchers, but they're also kind of blitzers as well. So yeah, it's hard I think to pass. Although obviously having 8 block skills or block or wrestle from the off is strong, but you got to know how to use them as well, and I think that punishes a lot of people with Brett's.
Yeah, definitely. They have, I think, a lot of strengths, but they're not a clear-cut team in terms of how you use them.
Yeah, I've always had a confusing sort of where I seem to lose to them whenever I play against them, but I can't win with them. It's just one of those. Even though I played White Isle League in Fumble for the first time this season, and the only team I lost to was Imperial Nobility. So
And Imperial Nobility are even worse than Brett's.
exactly,
Yeah.
And that was the only game I lost in the entire season was against Imperial Nobility. So yeah, it's just I think it's a personal mental thing with that team that I just can't pick for them.
Block and wrestle, you can't work through Dreamland. I think maybe.
Well, it's all that they've added stand firm. So where they've got worse, they also everyone's now fend or stand firm. It's like 8 of the team have some sort of rule like that. It becomes really difficult positioning wise.
Well, and once the blitzers get sidestep, then it is a nightmare, isn't it? Because the whole team is literally stand firm, sidestep, and fend.
Yeah, which is awful. Larry says, do you start with 4 knights for Brett? I mean, I always have, but I'm not a Brett specialist by any means.
I also do, but I've instantly ruled myself of having any valid opinion on this team by what I've said for the last 5 minutes. But I do.
I really like not starting with four knights. I ran a lot. So this comes a lot from before they had Agi access. So when I played them a lot when Blood Bowl 2 came out because they were the new team that weren't on Blood Bowl 1, right? So I've got if you look at my record, I've got loads and loads of games with Brett, and they're all garbage. So it was when I wasn't so great. I'm not saying great now. It was when I was a terrible player. Anyway, but I think because of the way they cost so much, I don't think the blitzers, especially early, are really worth. Was it 110, 120?
It's 110 starting, I think.
110, yeah. For not the it's good, and they're the best players in the team, but
you basically have 2 different starting options that you either go full positional with 2 reroll, or you go 3 and 3 with 3 reroll. I think they're like the 2.
I was going to argue for even less knights. I think 2 knights and having a big bench of peasants, because the peasants also just die all the time. So getting up to 13 players from the off, I think is worth more than having 3 knights.
I just started in my local league here in Argentina. I took Brett's after I won the league 5 times with Orcs and got a bit fed up and said, right, I better restart with Brett's, and I went with the full positionals, 2 rerolls. I mean, I don't know. I just like having everyone from the start.
Yeah. Okay. I like Dreamland. I'm in no position to talk about Brett's because I'm not experienced with them at all. Last thing, completing some Larry says also that an ability you have an ogre too. That makes him a bit better. Don't know.
Overall team is significantly worse. Having played against them, the overall team is even though I lost, the overall team is significantly worse. That the ogre doesn't make up for losing the 2 blitzers, in my opinion.
What I really hate most is not how good or bad Imperial Nobility are. It's that I like the fact that Bretts are a different team that are weird and have these things about them that are unusual, and I really hate the fact that Imperial Nobility have made them more into just a human team with 2 throwers, 2 catchers, and an ogre. I feel like in terms of game mechanics, it's a lot less interesting just having another, a human team that gets slightly different skills, basically.
And it's just add to that, it's a human team that's just worse. If you're playing Imperial Nobility now, I don't understand why you wouldn't just play humans who are better in almost every way.
Because you won the league 5 times with Orcs and you want to play it.
Yeah.
I mean, there is that, right? I mean, not all teams are graded equally, and there's the challenge aspect as well.
Yeah, but you want a team that plays differently, and I feel like
did you
Imperial Nobility don't play differently enough?
No, to another team. Danton, did you win 5 times in a row?
No. So I won the first one, and then didn't win the second or third, and then I won all of the rest in a row.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, orcs are fun.
I suppose they're not making you play ogres then or something. But okay, right. Let's move on to the next game, which is the bash off of the week. Well, one of them anyway. Motivated squad. Now, obviously we saw poor Niben and lose a noble and stand firm blocker which I think he's replaced straight away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can get 6. Can you get 6?
Yeah, he could afford the rookie as well if he wanted the 6. Yeah,
he could get the 6, couldn't he? Add this. I mean, we talked a bit about this bull, but yeah, his armor 8 with a niggle. But I think we discussed that, haven't we? When you'd keep him for now, maybe at the end of the season replace him. But I think he'll do in the meantime.
I mean, it's a great game for him to be missing because you don't want that niggle bull to have to face like
2400 Nurgle.
5 claw mighty blow, 2 of them with Pom.
So I'm working out how many players has he got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, we missed Galentio saying that
10.
humans have halflings, and that ends the discussion there because halflings are OP.
Actually, looking forward to trying halflings in a human team.
Yeah, I think it's nice. I think it's a nice change. I don't think it's going to make them that much better, but it's going to make them a bit more interesting. I think it's good.
Yeah,
I mean, getting one of them.
Nibelin says, he's not getting a new rookie just to get murdered in his first game, which makes
yeah,
good point.
And save the 70k and get it.
Get it.
Yeah.
We might need.
I mean, here you can. So there is quite a big difference, isn't there, in TV?
Yeah,
600.
You can
600.
Yeah, you can definitely get one. I know, how many Chorf blockers is he missing? Just the one, is it?
2.
Just the one now, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, you just get a Merc with guard or something.
So he's got 3. He's got 630 TV difference, and you'd want a Merc. Would you want a Merc Centaur as well as the Chorf? God, words.
Well, there is the what's he called, the star player full strength. Yeah, Hathark.
Hathark, the unstoppable.
Strength 5, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's really.
I mean,
isn't he about 380 though?
Yeah.
He's quite expensive, isn't he, from memory?
He is, and obviously the Claw Mighty on the other team's not great for a player like that.
It's always a difficult one because I don't think Chors haven't got that standout star. If you know, like it's not like you can just throw Griff into a team and sort of. Or like you don't, or Silly Billy for lizards or anything like that. Where it's just like an easy pick.
Against this this Nurgle team, you don't really want to be spending money on stars. The stars are expensive for what they are. You probably don't want any of them because they're just going to get claw bombs as soon as you reveal their face.
Yeah.
Or once your other players have melted away.
It's just too much TV in one player.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd stock up on Merc Chorfs with.
I mean, so hang on. There is the strength 4 Chorf, isn't there? That doesn't have block. What's it called?
That's Zarg Mad-Eye.
Yeah.
So he's
quite cheap. It's quite cheap.
It's cheap.
100k, yeah. Yeah, 100k for Zarg Mad-Eye. One turn of one of your, and something that isn't one of your players getting clawed on the LOS.
Has he got Dirty Player as well?
No, you're thinking about. So there's also a Hobgoblin who's also quite cheap. So the Hobgoblin with movement 7, sidestep, and dodge, which there's not that much tackle in this team. Oh, and he's got Sneaky Git, not Dirty Player. Now I think about it.
Yeah. Well,
but
Sneaky Git's not too bad against armor. Well, it is awful, but against armor 9, you don't need the assist, do you? Just go and stomp, and then if you break armor, brilliant. If you don't, then he stays on the pitch, doesn't he? So.
I mean, it's better than stocking up on Merc Hobgoblins.
Yeah, you don't want Merc Hobgoblins. They're a waste of time, aren't they? Really?
Well, you want to get 16 players ideally. So how are you get?
Well, like Niven says in the chat, I mean, this is really it's all about survival, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, would you even be tempted to go down the Apo Babe route for this game?
Well, I bet. I mean, extra Apo definitely more than Babes, because I mean, if you're thinking
Babes
about
puts them back on the pitch to get cast.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're KO'd, then they're safe, aren't they? Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, it might put them back on the pitch, but it's better than being dead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You want the Apo rather than the well, it depends on what your objective is. If it is like I've been saying, where it's just about survival, then maybe extra Apo and some stars to stand in the way.
I think I'd probably go for a couple of cheap stars. Apo, I don't know if you can fit a bribe in. I mean, just like sprinkle in a few things like that.
He's got 600, so yeah.
He's got quite a lot of leg room.
And you think that stops the pile-on button, and maybe with the bribe and the dirty player just helps.
It's not like Niven doesn't have his own claw bomb.
No, that is also true. I mean, if the dice go the right way, then.
But that's why he needs fodder to protect those claw bombers.
Because if he loses the kick, I mean, this is an instance where I'd absolutely kick. I mean, absolutely receive first rather than kick first, because you want to get those hits in early doors, don't you? But yeah, if his fires off and you get some good removals turn one, then
I mean, the trouble with that idea is that RTSD has 15 players.
He's just removing rookie rotters when he does.
Yeah, that. Yeah. There is that thing of where the turn after the first turn where
is the key one. Yeah, I know what you mean. I just think psychologically you want to be hitting first, don't you? But
or maybe you don't want to be hit first.
No, I mean the thing is though, if you go first, then you are giving the other team 2 LOS kind of turns in a row, right? As well.
I mean, what you could do, which I think I saw someone do it, a streamer doing it in the week, is set up on his kick, then just set up the 3 on the LOS and set everyone else well back, so at least they don't get a blitz as well. So they just get 3, limit the hits to the first 3. But that is a real, giving up loads of space and territory to do.
I mean, if you're going that route, you could go for the even safer approach of buy your wizard, take the kick, bolt the killer, and then concede, and then you don't have to get clawed at all.
I don't think you're allowed to do concede an OCC.
Oh, that's a CCL. That's a CCL
tactic.
I think the 51 SPP rule isn't enforced, right? So if you concede, is that right?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Half of his team might walk, but that is. I've not heard that before, Dreamland. That's genius.
Alt concede it's always one to have in the locker if a season's lost. Yeah,
it's important to know all the possible tactics. I am a big fan of what I like to call the DACA, or what is known in some places as the DACA. And even the defensive DACA, which is just start off, set back, and then just keep going further back every turn.
And then run away up, run away up a side as soon as possible.
Well, I mean, you don't have to set up like really far back. Just like 2 or 3 squares further back than normal, and it means that if they do use the blitz, then they're having to kind of expose the player.
Yeah, so say someone's been stranded.
I mean, it is worth pointing out that the claw bombing killer Pestigor is movement 5, so you could set up 6 squares back, force him to GFI, and or choose to blitz with someone who doesn't have POM, but then you're getting hits
exactly.
back.
You make the blitz kind of very unappetizing.
Yeah.
With frenzy and if he piles on, then he's going to be stuck. You just gang foul, so that it's a real disincentive to do anything.
You free hit on him, don't you? Really?
Well, you basically try and keep the gap to be 5 or 6 squares, and then it's up to him to close the distance, and you don't. Every turn that he doesn't is a turn where you're not being claw bombed, and every turn that he doesn't, it's a turn where he's not being claw bombed. But that also means
means something, doesn't it?
You're not going to die, which is kind of if that's the main plan.
And ultimately, how many is if RTSD receives, how many is he going to score in one half? Like 1. So
he's not going to score quickly, or he's not going to push too hard. He's going to secure the ball and bring it forward and try and chase a little bit. But if you keep a 5 square gap, he's not going to run straight at you because he knows that would be foolish.
So then go for the defensive DACA and then try and just score on your drive and 1-all it.
Well, the wizard as well.
When you have these kind of bash versus bash matchups, it is all about kind of trying to be the one who engages on your terms,
Yeah, exactly.
And this is where the meta of the league comes into it, because this is game 2. So as Nibden says, he doesn't want his team deleted after game 2 and ruin his season. So I think his objective very much should be to save his team as much as possible, really. If this was,
it's not fun playing 2K kill teams. It's just It's a horrible thing, and anyone that plays a 2K kill team is a monster.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
That's not true.
Coach.
Oh, come on, we've all played teams like this, surely. It's not
Oh,
really...
This was said very tongue-in-cheek, as I have a 2K Nurgle team that,
yeah, of course.
that you were playing in 2 weeks, yeah. Apparently, my 2K Nurgle team only has one claw because...
I really hope you pitch clear him, Dreamland. I'm so waiting for that game.
He's got more killing ability than me. That Nurgle team is all blodge for some reason. I just decided that was more funny.
Well, my team's all blodge as well, so we'll just be like pushing
each other around. I mean that's the thing. The reality is of this game, you know, we're bigging it up as the bash off, but it'll probably just be pushes and everyone will be fine.
Handbags at dawn.
Handbags. Right, that's enough about talking about bashing. Let's look.
Oh, we haven't. Have we actually picked who we think
I mean, I can already see everyone's already bet on RTSD.
I'm going to bet on Nibin because he's in the chat. And although I do hate
you keep doing these rogue picks and go like, well, everything says it's going to be this way, so I'm going to be different. But
and this is how he won last season. Not any smart play, just because he was different.
I hate Chorfs, but I hate Killer Nurgle more, I think. So that's it, just on racist grounds. That's how I make all my decisions.
We started with iffy racist talk.
Sorry, Dreamland.
What's that?
What did you say?
I said we started with iffy racist talk at the start of the stream, and now we're coming to the end, and we've got to toe around that edge, just in Blood Bowl terms.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
It's almost like there's a theme.
Remember, kids, racism is fine in Blood Bowl only.
Yeah, in Blood Bowl only. Right. Next game is Swadia versus Demon Smith. So this is the other Chorf team. Swadia is looking okay-ish, I think. So yeah, it's fairly solid.
I mean, like one red cross only it's a very good team, isn't it?
Solid. That's a niggle though, which is probably the worst one.
Yeah, but not as good as Barris's team.
Yeah, not as many skills.
Not as many skills, but
a lot less red crosses.
But this guy's won the league, hasn't he? So, and then the Chorfs. Again, looking pretty solid. I mean, they've got a full complement. One has also got a strength 5 bull. No pommers, but there's 2 claw mighty blow players, and the ball carrier is also strength 4, which is quite nice. Although he is armor 6. So this is again a tougher one. In TV terms, 1930 versus 1740. So yeah, the Swadia is going to probably have a wizard. Do you think?
Yeah, that's what I would pick.
Yeah, I guess
so. His 2 blockers with Rog. Normally they'd be really nice, but obviously this is the matchup where the dodge isn't so good.
Yeah, but wrestle's quite hard for Chorfs to deal with because it just makes gaps in their line, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. The movement 4 don't like being wrestled down. Ilminster says, after complaining about Clawpom, no dirty player means this team is trash.
That's fair enough. Well, yeah, I mean, there's not much, I don't think, to talk about. I mean, they're fairly solid teams. I mean, Ant-Man's going to be going for the removals. And Mathas is going to try and avoid that as much as possible. But I think Brett's are probably better suited to absorb Chorf hits than another bash team because they have got the fend and so on. So, I
mean, this looks pretty close.
It's a tough one, isn't it? I think just on the Khornight, just on the basis of the fact that Mathas will probably get a wizard, I'm going to go for Mathas for this one.
Of the games this week, this is the closest in terms of what the bot is giving the score by some way. Although it's not actually that. It looks like the bot really favours someone in each matchup this week. And before you voted, the 3 of us had actually split our votes entirely evenly in different places too. So
So who have you gone for?
I went for Ant-Man. I think killing power of Chorfs over Brett's is a thing.
Okay, and Dreamland?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
for Bert's.
Yeah.
Because I forgot that it was Bert's. Right. I thought in my head it was the High Elves that I went for in this situation. I thought it was the High Elf team, but
you can change it if you want.
Yeah, but I don't want to now. I feel like I've committed, and after slagging off Bert's 2 matches ago, I feel that sort of evens that up in my head somehow. So I'm going to stick with it.
Cool. Danton?
Yeah, I've gone for a draw. Mainly because I haven't gone for a draw for anyone else for a while. So I think it's just one of those games that feels like it could well be a draw.
Okay, cool. And the last one, not the last one, yes, the last one, I don't know what I'm talking about, is the Underworld versus the Elder Children. So this is...
you confused yourself by saying the last game that we talked about was actually the last one. But this is the real last one.
This is the real last one. So Wolfbark's team is missing a thrower, quite a few movement busts on that, but everyone else is still pretty solid. 13 players coming in at 16,
You replaced
90.
the Skaven
he did.
lineman, didn't
I
he?
guess he had the cash.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that Ori has died about 20 times, he still keeps that name. Poor Oriolensis.
Oriolensis, yeah, he died again, but he's reborn again for this one. And he is versus the Elder Children. So it's good old Guido, whose team's looking smaller than the other team, but still got a couple of standouts there. And as we saw, he's got the one turner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well,
6,
yeah,
7,
but with
8, 9.
the loners, it's 1910, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, 1910. Yeah.
Okay, so it's pretty even. Oh no, Underworld will have.
That's and Wolfbark is at home, so Nuffalter.
Yeah.
220 and Nuffalter. That's probably like. Would you take Bomber? You probably wouldn't even take Bomber against.
Not against Elves, surely.
No, but I guess it's Glar is better than Skidder, isn't he, in this matchup?
Yeah.
It's the claw is actually useful against high elves as well.
Although I don't know, you could
Well, it's
get
useful against 4 plus the loners, because that's all that's got armor
Well,
out.
I mean, it's only not useful against the catchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was about to say the stab would be quite useful against catchers, though, right? Blodge catchers, a stab is better than rolling pow, right? With
Yeah,
the
but you know, I guess there's 3 tacklers though here. I mean, they could take Skidder out relatively easily.
Mm. But he's protectable and fast, which is what the Wolfbark's blitzers aren't.
Glencio says, well, I think first of all he thinks it's going to be a tie, and second he says this might be one of those games where the elves want to attack first, so the elves would be kicking, given the choice. I don't know about that.
No, receiving. That's what that means. Attack first.
Attack first. You're receiving. Yes, of course. Sorry. I don't know if they would actually, because I think this team is more set up to steal, isn't it, than score quickly. I mean, you can always score quickly.
As elves, I would kick first 99% of the time.
Yeah, but the 1% of the time is maybe when you've got 11 players and you're against a kill team that's going to absolutely murder you, right? And that's what this is, isn't it? So maybe, but is this the one of the 1%?
But I mean, especially I suppose he's got a natty, right? But he has to field the natty.
Yeah, the natty's got to be on. Yeah, that's the problem. One of the problems.
Going on defense does mean the whole, less important LOS hits.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm betting on Wolfbark. I think with the TV difference, and he's already got so many great tools in his team to deal with elves, plus the stars he's getting, and maybe even a wizard. I mean, I just think he's favorite.
Okay, Dreamland.
Yeah, I agree with everything Danton just said. I think he's got enough anti-elf tools.
He's got a lot of anti-elf tools, hasn't he? Yeah.
He's just going to remove enough players. I think it doesn't have to be a kill fest to be able to get the upper hand when you're only playing 11 players. So, yeah, I'm going for Wolfbark as well.
I actually
just noticed actually that one of his wrestle goblins has tackle now as well. That's an amazing goblin, and horns.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And 2 heads.
Sweet.
I mean, he's a cage driver, isn't he?
Well, he definitely is now. Not strip ball is interesting, I guess, as everyone got sure hands in this division, probably. So, yeah, tackle is better. That's really good.
Nice horn, isn't it?
Sorry, say that again?
Nice horn.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, I actually went for a draw, mostly because of Wolfbark saying that he wasn't into it and that he's, wish he hadn't signed up and stuff. So for purely psychological reasons, I've gone for the draw.
Yeah, but who doesn't like killing elves? Do you know what I mean?
Agreed.
Well, you apparently.
Well, I like killing. Well, I don't even like killing my own. So no.
One of the greatest things about playing Wood Elves is being sure that an elf is going to die every game. My own or an opponent's, I don't care.
Just
Win-win.
Elf death.
Yeah.
And that, gentlemen, leads us to the end of the schedule. Now, are you free tomorrow? Because we can just do a quick recap scores of betting tomorrow and have more of a general chat. From about midday, we'll do mine and your divisions. Because are we in 3 different divisions? The rest of us, I can't remember.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
And have we bet on everyone's division?
Yep.
Right.
I have at least. I don't know if everyone else did.
Well, if one of us has, then that's fair enough because it's up to the others to keep up to speed on that. Okay.
Yeah, I did a randomly clicking on people's names without really much idea of what the teams are. So I've voted on everyone.
Yeah, I've done a lot of that as well.
Okay, well I'll tell you what we'll do. Tomorrow we will look at the outstanding 3 divisions. I'll roll a D3 live on stream, and we'll look at one division in terms of teams because we haven't looked at teams of any of the 3 divisions yet either, have we? So does that sound all right?
Yeah, it works for me.
Yep, I'm free tomorrow.
Okay,
I'm free.
I'm free. Danton, yeah. If you're around.
I think I am. Yep.
Grant. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone else. Good luck in your games this week. Just really quickly, I think we all won, didn't we? Our games this week. I won.
No, I drew.
You drew. Khornight, you won, didn't you? Somehow.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Danton.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. And Galentia won, which is good. Yeah, great. Who else is on?
I know that Elliot is on because I saw his thing go live. I think Miss Peltree might be. Actually, no. Looks like she's finished. No, sorry. Miss recognizing icons. I thought that was Poncho. Which due to the. Okay, so we have Eliod, Singolo, Daedalquist.
Yeah.
And that's the only ones who I really know. Fitch on Twitch, I'm vaguely aware of, but I haven't watched much of him. But yeah, Eliod or Singolo or Daedalquist, and I know who I choose.
Well, choose away.
It's gonna be Eliod, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna raid Singolo unless you have people that speak Russian.
Oh my dances! He does. He speaks English, and he will speak English if there's enough English people in the chat.
Yeah, but normally whenever I switch it on, there's a lot of Russian going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some disappointing news this week, haven't we, about the bot?
Yeah, that what made me thought I saw Poncho's icon because he streams as well. So yeah, the Spike bot that we get the reports from is not going to do reports or anything Discord related from April.
Well, not unless someone else basically steps in and does the development.
Yeah, well, there's 2 ways of it happening. So there's the library that Spikebot uses to communicate with Twitch. It could be that someone creates a new library that does everything back to the old way. But that's very unlikely. And then there's Poncho or someone else working on Spikebot, which is open source, so anyone can do it.
Anyone could do it, but I think Poncho said he doesn't. He's not.
Anyone can do it, but it's one of those things that who has the time or the energy?
I mean, fair play. We should say first of all that Spike is amazing, and thank you to Poncho 100% for doing it.
We should be added. It's not just Poncho. There have been a good
some of the people as well.
5 or 6 people who've worked on the bot from. I think Schleiss started it in Rebel. And then handed over the code to Poncho, and then there's been a bunch of other people who've worked on various bits and stuff. So You know, all those people, as a community, we're indebted to
absolutely
massively.
100%, because it makes things so much easier to run leagues and do what we've done today. Really,
All our betting, we're looking at match reports and stuff. I mean, also the guy from Cyanide who made the API entirely off his own back. He's not being paid by Cyanide to keep that API running. It's a personal pet project of his that he does in his own spare time too.
I mean, we slag off Cyanide as a company, but the individuals that work there are, generally obviously just doing their best and doing the best they can for the hobby, So yeah, well done.
Yeah, hopefully BB3 is actually playable for a start. But I mean, beyond that, assuming it is playable, then hopefully it does have some nice kind of add-ons like this.
After that patch, halfway through, I played two games, and I thought it was acceptable. There are things I still want changed. There's a lot of ways in which it's worse than Blood Bowl 2, but it is playable at the moment.
Yeah, it's
playable. It all comes. Yeah, but it all comes down to as well, really how well are they listening to the feedback, because they've obviously made certain design choices and are kind of, choosing to die on a certain hill. But how much will they kind of concede that really the UI needs a lot of work?
I mean, some of the design choices allegedly have come from Games Workshop, right? So, like the idea that more of the tabletop rules have been implemented, even though they don't really make sense in a computer game.
Like the passing.
Yeah.
Which I don't really understand for tabletop either. But, that's a whole different rant for a different day.
I mean, it makes sense in tabletop because keeping track of people's actions is kind of difficult. So by declaring them, it stops people from like doing two passes or two blitzes without you noticing, just because you weren't really watching the table perfectly for 4 minutes, which in tabletop happens. Quite often you'll end up chatting and people will come past.
That's true, but then you could solve that in tabletop by just having a counter that you can flip for each of your actions, can't you?
Yeah. Making the actions counterable, I think, is just something that people should do anyway.
But isn't part of it around that you can do it verbally? That's sort of the big difference. When you can just verbally declare stuff, it's not so much of a task. Whereas when you have to go to a separate menu and.
I'm not that fussed about the declaration thing. I'm more worried about first of all, the timer. The whole timer animations aspect of it just feels totally off. On one side, to me, that's critical. If they can't get that right, that's just going to be, that makes it borderline unplayable. And then the other one is, the whole control wheel thing, where, I don't mind the idea of a kind of a wheel for certain options, but it just needs to be done in a much more subtle way.
Better. It needs to be better. Yeah.
Just be better.
Just be better.
Make it better, please.
All right. And on that note, I think we'll go. So, poussez le bouton, Khornight.
Okay. Yeah. It's weird me being the positive one for a change. I find that very unusual. I'm not used to that at all.
All right. As I said before, thanks for watching, everyone. Good luck this week. I'll put this link in the chat in Orca-Cola, and also it'll be on YouTube as well if I remember to press the button. So, yeah. See you soon.
Cheers.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Button pressed.